Another item on Pope Francis's agenda recently was to welcome members of the American Jewish Committee to the Vatican. The Pope reminded the group that Christians see Jews as their elder brothers. He says he looks forward to the 50th anniversary of Nostra Aetate next year, the landmark document of Vatican II addressing interreligious dialogue. The Holy Father also said Christians and Jews can cooperate by helping the suffering and working together for justice. Jewish leaders attending the meeting see Pope Francis as a friend.
There has never ever been a pope who has had as close a relationship with the Jewish community as this one, and therefore he understands us in a very deep and profound way. He knows a living Jewish community. He has interacted. He's written a book with a rabbi. He has many rabbinical friends, many Jewish communal leaders. He opened up the cathedral for a Yom HaShoah commemoration concert. He's visited the synagogue many times.
The Pope will make another visit to a place very important to Jews and Catholics. He'll visit Jerusalem in a few months. Both the Pope and his guests agreed they have a lot in common.
Christians, as indeed the magisterium has taught since Nostra Aetate, cannot understand themselves as Christians if they do not understand their Jewish roots.
By the way, the rabbi was named a papal knight by the order of St. Gregory the Great for his work promoting Catholic-Jewish relations. We go down to New York City where Eliseo Nauman joins us. He is the director of the American Jewish Committee's Africa Institute. Eliseo, we appreciate you being with us, and we know you weren't there during the meeting with the AJC and the Vatican, but the Pope invited Jews and Christians to build a more just and fraternal world. Did any plans come out of that meeting?
There was a meeting simultaneous to it, or preceding it, with Secretary of State, soon-to-be Cardinal Parolin, in which a more specific agenda was discussed, or the prospects of one. And Africa, the area, the field in which I work at AJC, was specifically mentioned. We hope, and very generously, Archbishop Parolin offered the nunciators in Africa to serve as sounding boards for us for ideas on how to advance mutual programs, particularly around conflict prevention, reconciliation, post-conflict, also issues in development. We take often to Israel members of the development community to interact with counterparts that have similar experiences in overcoming such things as agricultural, as water deficiencies and agricultural, how to make agriculture work in arid lands. And for me, it's always remarkably refreshing to simultaneously with discussing those issues, exploring the common spiritual ground that we have as Christians and Jews. And even though that's not at the top of the agenda in those meetings, it's a very strong bond. So interfaith dialogue is another field in which we hope to develop further than we have to date.
You got to meet Pope Francis. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you got to meet Pope Francis personally. What was that like for you? I know you're both from Argentina.
Yes. I got to meet Pope Francis because I was visiting one of my most dear friends, and perhaps one of the people that has influenced me the most in my life, whom I met when I was 10. He's now 91, and he's an Argentine priest who became a bishop, then an archbishop, and then a cardinal. He was the head of the Vatican Library, and he was taken ill, and I went to visit him in the hospital. And Pope Francis called every other day to make sure that that Jorge Mejia, Cardinal Mejia, was doing well. He actually visited him on the third day of his papacy because, unfortunately, Jorge back then had a heart attack. And when I was about to leave, it was offered that I attend the daily mass that Pope Francis says at Santa Marta, and I had the overcoming honor to be there and to meet him afterwards. As you know, probably he greets all the people that attend the mass. He seems to be now taking every day a group of from different parishes in Rome, and so that accounts for about half of the attendees, and the rest are other people who are going through Rome.
Well, I'm sure it was a wonderful experience for you, and we appreciate you sharing it with us on EWTN News Nightly. Eliseo Nauman, thank you for joining us from New York.